Okay, so we're on to the fourth part of Lab 2, where we're developing this character that we're going to animate under program control. So if I go into Flex Builder and run the application, then we can see the state which we left it at, which is where we've got a couple of buttons which can start him walking and can stop him walking, start him walking, stop him walking. Of course, what we want is we want this full button to make him invoke the full behavior rather than just simply stopping him. So let's go to the application and see what we have to do here. If I expand this to maximum size, then we'll be able to see a little bit more of the functions that we've actually got here. So if you remember from last time, then what we did was we created two functions which we were to use to respond to the on-end frame event. One is going to do the walk and one is going to do the fall. Right? So what we have to do is we have been using this function here, which is the on-enter frame do walk function, and we've just simply curtailed the walk to make it within the original 8 frames. All right. So if we are going to make the character fall, then the first thing that we have to do is we have to make sure that we are going to add an event listener. So we're going to say this dot add event listener. Here's our event listener function, and we're going to use the same type of event as before. It's the on enter frame, and here what we're going to do is we want to use the on enter do fall. And of course, this is going to take an event. And now this will start our full procedure. Of course, what we will want to do is we'll want to make sure that the current image, the current walk image, whatever it is invisible. And we'll also want to do that in the walk function as well. Furthermore, we want to initialize the current image to 7, because it's really when the full behavior makes it start. All right. So obviously now what we have to do is we have to change the full function so that it's going to just cycle through images 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and then stop. All right? So if we get to the end of the images, then rather than set the current image to 0, we simply want to stop. And the easiest way to stop is simply to remove the event listener, which is running. And this is the on-enter, this is the do full event handler. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this in here, and obviously it has to be remove. All right. However, if we're not at the end of our list of images, then what we want to do is we want to do other behaviors, and it's essentially what we wanted before. So I'm just going to copy and paste this in, except I'm going to make the guy fall on the spot. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that image increment. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the last image, make it invisible, increment the image, and then make the new image visible. All right, let's see if that works. Now, we've got our first error, and what this error does is it says we expect right parenthesis before the colon, So in fact, I've copied too much in here, so we just need to remove that. And now let's see if we get that removes that error. However, we've got a similar error down here, too much copying and pasting. And now that error has disappeared as well. And let's see if we can run this. All right. So we're going to do the walk. Let's see if the fall works. And the fall has worked, but unfortunately we've removed the last image. So let me see if I can do that again. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down into our do fall function here. And really we don't want the last image to be made invisible. All right, and the problem is that I've actually used the old bit of code here. I've incremented one too far in terms of the images. And if I now run it, then what we should see is that we've got our walk behavior, and when we fall, he remains there. And he's up and walking again, and falling, up and walking again, falling, etc. So now we have a character under program control. We can invoke two different behaviors. One is the walk behavior, one is the fall behavior, and we do this using a couple of buttons. Now, of course, what we can do is we can take all this code and we can put it inside a package, and that makes it much cleaner, and we can just have a walk method or a start walk method and a start fall method to initiate the behaviors. Now, there's one thing which I should really do to clean this up a little bit, and that is that what I didn't do was I didn't remove the event listener, which was running up here, which is our walk event listener. Or rather, if we, it's the full one that I'm talking about, of course. So that keeps it cleaner, because when we were going from the full to the walk, what was happening is the other event handler would have been running in the background. Let's just check that that's all right. And we've got our walk and then our fall. So that's fine. Our behaviors are fine. And that's the end of this lab. Thank you very much.